Aloha salty friends, it's Levon from Salty Cures, and guess what? Today is March 5th. Now, what is so significant about March 5th? Nothing really that I'm aware of, except for one very important thing if your goal is to get in shape. And this time of year presents a very specific challenge that a lot of people are struggling with, and that is the loss of motivation that you once had at the beginning of the new year. So, if you find yourself in that boat and you want to know how to pick yourself up off the ground and keep going and not give up on your goals, keep watching this video and we're going to talk about that right now. Okay, so like I was talking about a second ago, chances are your local gym is way less crowded than it was a month or two ago. And isn't that kind of how it goes every single year? Now, if you find yourself in that position, I understand how frustrating that can be because you feel like, okay, I had all this motivation, I had all these plans. What happened? Where did it go? Why do I feel like giving up on my goals? So we're here to talk about why that might be happening and what are some things you can do to stop yourself from thinking that your entire year is lost, okay? So here's the first thing I want you to consider. This is the premise upon which, if you're built, you might have it all wrong to begin with, and that is that motivation by itself is the thing that's going to carry you through to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And I gotta tell you, that's never true. We're going to talk more about why motivation is an unreliable friend. It's a necessary friend, but it's an unreliable one in terms of helping you really get there to where you want to get to. And so what may have happened is you may have thought, I'm motivated, I got this, here we go. And then inevitably what happens is motivation starts to wane because things happen, things get in the way, life happens. We start to get sidetracked from that routine that we were on initially at the beginning of the year, and then the motivation dips because we beat ourselves up, we feel like we aren't getting results, and then the wheels really start to fall off, and you find yourself in March feeling super unmotivated and questioning how this could have happened. So I cannot emphasize this to you strongly enough that motivation is not the exclusive thing you should ever rely on when you're trying to get in shape. Is it important? Is it useful? Yes. But so is the wind. And as we all know, the wind, when it comes, when it's here, when it's blowing, it feels nice, right? It can push a sailboat. It can do a lot of things. It's refreshing. But inevitably the wind leaves, right? And then you're left with doldrums. And if you're not anchored, and that's what we're going to talk about, some anchors that you can have for yourself, then you're going to drift. Like you may be drifting right now during the month of March and beyond. And nobody wants to drift. We don't want you drifting. We want you to stay on track. Even if you feel like you've gotten off track, quickly do something to get back on track so that you don't drift and you don't sit around waiting for motivation to come rescue you, because you can rescue yourself by having, again, some anchors to anchor yourself to. And let's talk about those right now. So, first action step to take for yourself is, like we just talked about, understand the proper place of motivation. Yes, look for it. Yes, absorb it when you can, but realize that it is not the exclusive end-all be-all thing that is going to be that anchor like we talked about and help you get your goals. Okay, so anchor number 2 is kind of based off of anchor number 1, and that is, if you had or have the mindset of, hey, motivation's going to get me there, you likely have the type of thinking that says, I'm going to win the game with a home run swing. And that's just not how fitness or life in general really works. It's more about playing what they call small ball. You know, waiting for your pitch, hitting a single, getting a walk, being patient, having a strategy, and sticking to that strategy. So lots of little things you can do every single day to help yourself make and keep commitments to yourself and do the little things over a long period of time that are gonna not only make a difference, but are going to establish habits for yourself to the point where you don't need motivation to come pick you up off the ground because you're just automatically doing these things for yourself every single day. In fact, I would even make the argument, go so far as to say that if you're the type of person that feels like you need motivation all the time, you're an undisciplined person. I hate to say it so bluntly and directly to you, but you're probably an undisciplined person. Whereas people who do the little things consistently every single day, even if each of those little things in and of themselves isn't going to get them to their goals, they've established that discipline through way of habits, which, as you probably know, if you don't already, you should. I'm huge on habits. Habits are everything. And so it takes those little small habits building upon each other till the point where they become automatic things that you do, which frankly is easier than relying on motivation and getting yourself going again. And you get there a lot quicker in the long term, the long view of things. Okay, anchor number 3. Now this is the one that's perhaps most like an anchor in a literal sense more than any of the others. And that is, you need a written plan. Now, the nature of how that's written doesn't have to be super in-depth, it doesn't have to be super detailed. It just has to be something that tells you, hey, this is what I'm working on, because you're gonna forget. And this is what I'm gonna do to accomplish that. Because like we talked about, like the motivation and the wind leaving you, sometimes that feeling of motivation leaving causes you a sense of confusion where it's like, wait, what am I doing? What did I have going for me in the first place? I don't even remember. And that's where you need that written stuff down to remind you. It sounds simple and obvious, but it's really the case. And if you don't regularly review that, obviously, then it's not gonna matter either. So write what you're doing down as specifically as you can in a way, whether that's handwritten form or on your phone or anywhere else that's gonna be easy and convenient for you to review frequently. All right, now anchor number 4 in helping you get back on track in the new year with your fitness is accountability. Now hopefully you know how important accountability is. It is arguably the most important thing that you need to have in place in order for you to consistently reach those fitness goals that you have. In fact, there's been actually quite a bit of research done and things said about how intertwined accountability is with whether or not you're successfully able to establish proper healthy habits. And the reason for that is because, if you want to call it something different, we all need a supportive community around us when we're trying to accomplish anything. And having that supportive community obviously provides that support, but like accountability in the word says, it provides an opportunity for you to account to somebody what you're doing, how well you're doing with it, and whether or not you're making progress. Now, if you need accountability, I've got something that I can offer you that will allow you to be accountable to me, and I can give you awesome feedback on a daily basis to help you stay accountable and get that part dialed in so that you can reach your fitness goals faster and also keep them. All right, anchor number 5, and I'm betting a lot that this is one that you really overlook, and 90+% of you, if you're struggling now compared to where you were at the beginning of the year, you're ignoring this and you've let this go, and that is to simplify your life. Chances are you've got too much going on, whether that's too many goals, which goals are good, but it's possible to have too many of them. It could be too much going on in your personal life, it could be too much going on in your work life, or it could just be too many things in too many different areas of your life all happening all at once and making it difficult for you to accomplish what you want to. And I promise you, it's really hard to accomplish something as hard as fitness and getting in shape if you've got too much going on. So simplify, whether that's relationships, your daily routine, how many things you say yes to, how many things you take on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, or maybe it's just too many fitness goals. Maybe you just need to do like we've talked about in past videos and focus on one big thing at a time until you've got it mastered and then move on to the next one. But all of us, I'm willing to bet, like I said earlier, probably have too much going on and we need to find ways to simplify. Now that simplifying of life is heavily tied into writing things down, because if you don't have things written down, that's when, in my experience at least, it becomes super easy to get too much going on at once. But if you have things written down and it's a simple recording of what you'd like to accomplish, then it's much easier to stick to just those handful of things and ignore everything else, so that you can more easily have the energy you need and the focus you need to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So let's wrap this up with these 5 anchors that can help you get back on track and getting your fitness goals reached this year, even though you feel like you've kind of fallen off the wagon since January. Anchor number 1 is to remember to realize that while motivation is useful, it has its place and it can't be solely relied upon as the thing that's going to get you to your goals. Anchor number 2 is to also realize something, and that is that the game you're trying to play is a game of small ball, meaning that it consists of little wins every single day for a long period of time, and not just the one big home run swing that might win the game for somebody every once in a while. Remember the baseball analogy that we alluded to earlier, and just remember to really play that game. Really just convince yourself that it's not all going to happen at once, and be okay with that and love the process as you go along with it. Anchor number 3 is to have a written plan. Now, again, that written plan can be in any form that works for you, whether that's handwritten, on your phone, anything. just so that you have something to refer back to when you get a little bit flustered, a little bit frustrated, and a lack of motivation sets in, so that you can have something to come back to and remind yourself, hey, this is what I'm working on, and I'm going to exclude all else. Anchor number 4 is to have accountability if you haven't set that up for yourself already. And that can be one person, that can be a lot of people, but the main thing is you need a daily outlet and resource to go to report on what you're doing, and that's going to help you more consistently and more motivated, we'll say. It's a different kind of motivation that actually works. That's going to help you be motivated to do those things day in and day out, the little things, the big things that you need to do to reach your fitness goals. And lastly but not least, anchor number 5 is potentially the most important one, ironically, and that is to simplify. Remember to simplify your life. Try to cut out as many unnecessary things that may be cutting into your energy and your focus, because those things are finite resources that you have that you can't just give to anything and everything in your daily life and expect to have the motivation when it comes, or the focus to establish the habits and do all these little small ball tactics that you're going to need to do in order to reach and keep those fitness results that you're looking for. Alright guys, so those are my 5 favorite things that I feel like you should create as anchors for yourself, so that you don't have to be washed back and forth by the winds of motivation, whether they're there or not. There might be more, there probably are more. If you have had experience with different things that you've anchored yourself to that have kept you or got you back on track with your fitness progress, let us know. We can all benefit from sharing of those kinds of ideas. Also, if you need some help in creating any of these things that we just talked about, not only that, but also if you need some help with the how of what to do with regards to structuring a program, what exercises to do, how to best approach your nutrition, I can definitely help you with that with the new fitness coaching program that we have here at Salty Cures that is awesome. It includes an app that you check in with me every single day and get resources and input from me that will help you to keep on track and do these things that we're talking about and that we'll continue to talk about in order to get you in the best shape of your life. So leave a comment or send me a message through my website at saltycures.com/fitnesscoaching, or you can send me a message on my Facebook or Instagram pages, anywhere you can find me on the internet. I'd love to tell you more about that fitness coaching option. Have a good day, guys. Implement this stuff. You can do this. It's not over. The year is still young, and every day is a new day, really. The year is just kind of an arbitrary thing that we've come up with. But if you feel like you've lost track of where you started at the beginning of this year and you'd like to get back, just believe that it's possible. And every single day is an opportunity to right the ship and to keep going in the direction that you want to go. Take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Aloha.